Hello. It's been a long time since I've done one of these, and I'm doing it today in honor of the full moon at approximately 3 degrees Capricorn. So we know that there's a change going on, and transitions are difficult. Um, Astrologically, there's been a gradual change happening. Um, there's been a gradual movement of several of the major planets into other signs, and of the whole planetary configuration moving from being compact and closed and focused and inwardly drawn to being open and multidimensional and possibly a little bit scattered, but active. Um, and even though the movement has been gradual, the lunar cycle, today being a full moon, it tends to bring whatever is happening astrologically into sharper focus, especially emotionally and socially in terms of how we relate to and get what we need and try to avoid not getting what we don't need from society, from others around us. So the full moon in Capricorn could be said to be highlighting this particular dichotomy of bringing the private Cancerian self, if the sun is in Cancer, to bring that private self out of its Cancerian shell and into the Capricorn practical world of work, business, and transactional relationships. Maybe with all of us missing an interpersonal beat here and there along the way, or feeling that others are missing interpersonal beats and behaving out of like bald self-interest, overly selfishly, and stepping on people's toes, wounding that sensitive Cancer skin along the way. Everyone is getting used to a new rhythm of balancing self-interest with the needs and interests of others. Um, and no one's getting it completely right. So whether you're a Cancer or not, there's a little bit of vulnerable hurt going around these days as we all kind of peep out of our shells and exposing vulnerabilities and getting used to, a new platform of activity. So people can be understandably edgy with some short fuses. That would make sense with what I've already been speaking about, but there's also a particularly dynamic configuration between Mars, which is like energy, drive, and definitely self-interest too, and Uranus and Saturn's like the disciplinarian. So Mars and Saturn never play well together. And Uranus, whenever it's playing with any sign, it's definitely a like, throw all the cards into the air. I'm gonna go home and play my own game. So, that planetary configuration can express itself as bursts of dynamic, inspired activity at best, but also can express itself as frustration, irritation, and outbursts of temper, as there's an attempt to balance a push-pull between independence, that would be sort of Uranus and Mars, both a little bit fighting with each other about what independence needs, and some personal comfort coming into there as well, with Uranus being in the comfort-loving sign of Taurus. And then Saturn in Aquarius, with the push-pull between independence and personal comfort versus responsibility and sort of social responsibility, group responsibility in particular. So this is especially difficult for the fixed signs, which are Aquarius, Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, and Leo. That's all the bad news. That's all where the difficulty is, where the challenges are. And there's nearly always challenges. So, you sort of need challenges to push you as well. The good news is that the planetary configuration has opened up and that it's radically shifted from being compact and closed to being open and variable. So that variability means a kind of like when one door closes, another door opens, and you just have to pay attention and keep crossing the stream by stepping from stone to stone. There's always a way out of whatever frustration, irritation, or impasse you're facing. That is true for all the astrological signs. Some of the astrological signs will have an easier time than others seeing the next stone to use to cross the stream, or seeing the door that needs to be opened. But there is a door. That the nature of the aspects are right now is that there is a way out for everyone, actually. You just have to take the time to see it. So even if that just means opening the door literally and stepping out to take a walk in the sun, possibly without your mask on, then that's what it is. So I'll do a really quick rundown of what it means for each of the planets, and then sign off and check in with you again later, maybe with the new moon. We'll start with Cancer since the sun is in the sign of Cancer. So Jupiter's making a favorable aspect to your sign. That means it really doesn't have to be hard. And you are in a good position to either just take a step back and relax, or to open the doors that present themselves. Leo, you're at part of that sort of dynamic configuration, so there can be headaches ahead. And there's a tendency to get yourself into trouble by pushing too hard. So if you take a step back, it will be easier. Virgo, you have a lot of positive aspects going on. So you are definitely one of the signs where just keep crossing the stream, step from stone to stone. Don't try to stay on the same stone. The answer isn't always the same, but there's always an answer. Don't stick to routine, and the path appears before your feet. Libra, hard work pays off. This is a time when that's really true. Stay on top of things and stay in touch. Communication is key, and you have good aspects for moving ahead with important work by staying in touch with other people. Scorpio, you also get sucked into, you get sucked into this fixed sign issue. And the question you have to ask yourself is, are we going to do things the hard way, or are we going to do things the easy way? You really have a choice, but let me just warn you that the hard way will be really hard. So I would take the time to look for the easy way, because there is an easy way. It doesn't have to be hard. Sagittarius, it's a little bit of a confusing time for you. The key for you is to keep moving, whether that means physical activity or whether it's more metaphorically, keep moving from one thing to the other, and trust that the necessary responsibilities, kind of keep following the necessary responsibility that rises to the top, one after the other. Capricorn, you also have lots of positive aspects, so it's possible to move well with the flow. You have to pay a little extra attention to the feelings of others. There's a tendency not to do that. Aquarius, you're also part of that fixed sign dynamic configuration. And your tendency is to have your nose to the grindstone full on, and possibly to think that everybody else should be doing the same thing. That is not necessarily true. Just because you have to be working hard doesn't mean that everybody else has to be working hard in exactly the same way. You have to be careful not to get too hard on yourself and get depressed. That's not really needed. An effort to keep things light is also important. Pisces, Jupiter is in your sun sign, so this is a good time to enjoy the sunshine. There are a lot of positive aspects for you to take advantage of and to relax. Aries, the message for you is similar to that of Sagittarius. The key is to keep moving, and a certain amount of going back and trust that what needs to get done will get done, as you also pay attention to the responsibilities that arise in the moment. Taurus, by now you should be getting used to things being somewhat of a bumpy ride, and you might even be enjoying it. You may feel that there's a lot of pressure. You kind of get caught into this fixed sign configuration, but you also have some positive aspects. So the key is to follow the beat of your own drummer, not to let others push you, force. There's a tendency to feel like others are trying to get you to do things that they have to do or they need done. And you have to do a balancing act with that. A certain amount of it, enough of that to still be able to do what you need to do. And Gemini, this should be, usually about Gemini, you don't say, oh, you're the most effective sign in the world, because Geminis have a tendency to move around a lot anyhow. But Gemini, this is one of those times when you're actually getting stuff done, even as you also move around a lot, as is the tendency with Geminis. All right, that is a quick rundown of the planetary configuration right now. I hope everyone is managing the transition with some degree of grace. And I look forward to seeing you or talking to you soon.